The policy side of it must be discussed, in my view. And these final two questions: is there any set of cyber understandings with other countries? I'm not saying treaty. I think treaty and verification is too tough a nut at this stage, but is there any set of cyber understandings with other countries to restrain offensive cyber attacks that we are willing to live with in terms of limiting ourselves? That's a tough one. My final question: David Sanger recently wrote an excellent book, which I read this last weekend, an excellent book about cyber, and it's titled The Perfect Weapon. He closes with a very provocative proposal about utilizing America's offensive and retaliatory capability with these words, quoting from that book: "The intelligence agencies insist on secrecy, but that would defeat the point. Our response to deter attackers needs to be very public as an American airstrike on a chemical weapons plant in Syria or an Israeli strike on a nuclear reactor." Continued quote: "Every time we respond quietly or not at all to an attack because we are worried about revealing the quality of our detection systems or the capability of our cyber weapons, we only encourage escalation and further cyber attacks from our adversaries," end quote. David poses a tough but I think crucial question. How much are we willing to reveal about our considerable offensive capabilities? And they are considerable. This requires a lot of thought, a 360-degree analysis. Some of it has to be classified, but some of it has to be debated in public. And that debate, I think, has to happen. And of course, very careful consideration before moves are made in that direction. But I think the question is one that is very legitimate. There are many other questions that will arise in our discussion today. And I don't want anyone to think I expect our panelists, the speakers, to have all the answers for that set of questions. But given our excellent panels, I'm very confident this forum can contribute significantly to the national discussion and the debate, which frankly has not yet occurred. Just talking to Cy Goodman, who's done so much in cyber, and he was basically saying he wished 20 years ago that people would pay as much attention as they seem to be paying now. But now that we do have attention, we've got to really bear down, particularly experts in this area. Finally, one other little bit of advice. I do hope that our panelists, particularly those who are blessed with technical brilliance, and I guess that assumes just about everybody, will use understandable terminology, particularly to dummies in the audience like me who are not cyber fluent. Let me give you a little illustration, a little history on that subject. Some of you may be familiar with this. It actually occurred. This is not fake news. The year was 1996. The Forum, the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, United States Senate. The subject: cybersecurity challenges. The witness: John Deutsch, Director of the Central Intelligence Agency. The first question by Chairman Nunn. Mr. Director, you've used the word cyber throughout your testimony. Please give us your definition of the word cyber. I thought it was a rather straightforward question. Response from witness John Deutsch, who is usually, as all of you know him, very, very glib. The response: blank stare and painful silence. Then finally, these embarrassing words: Mr. Chairman, may I furnish that answer for the record? I thought this was simply another intelligence lapse until I received this letter the following week from Director Deutsch. Dear Senator Nunn, this is a direct quote from the letter. During last week's hearing on foreign information warfare capabilities, you asked a rather indelicate question. What does cyber mean anyway? I must admit that your query caused a great deal of discomfort here at the agency. While everyone had used the term, no one had heretofore felt any need to know precisely what it meant. In light of my promise to keep Congress fully and currently informed, I pressed for an answer. Continued quote from the letter. The CIA's research revealed that the term cybernetics was coined by the father of cybernetics, Norbert Wiener, in 1948. In Mr. Weiner's words, we have decided to call the entire field of control and communication theory, whether in the machine or the animal, by the name cybernetics, which we formed from the Greek kybernetes, or steersman. The Department of State concurred with CIA's findings, but wished to point out that the Greek kybernetes is related to the Latin gubernator, meaning steersman or governor. The Defense Intelligence Agency is not yet ready to make a judgment, and it is exploring the possibility that cyber may have come from the Greek kybersteter or diver, from which we also derive the word cybister, or genus of large diving beetles. The director of the CIA closes his letter by saying, "Mr. Chairman, I hope this clears up." Of course it didn't, but I trust that we will today.